Hi everybody, it's Dennis here from Synovate. Today we're going to show you how to get up and running with your brand new Synovate grip reacher. Like many of our products, the grip reacher is actually an idea from one of you. In fact, the shooter behind that camera. So Curtis actually wanted a way to get his camera on the slider, wide angle lens, and do a push and not have the slider in the frame. So we're going to show you today how we achieve that goal and a whole bunch of other cool things with the grip reacher. One of the nice things about grip reacher is it's going to arrive to you completely assembled. So basically you just have to take it out of the box, send your cardboard off for recycling, and you're pretty much ready to roll. So we've removed the packing material, and you can see it's fully assembled. We'll just walk through the basic steps to get this mounted and get shooting. Okay, so with your grip reacher in hand, I'm just going to show you some basic functions. It's really important to note here that the grip reacher can be used on a slider, it can be used on a tripod, it can also be mounted on our jib and used as a mount arm. So we're going to run through a few of those setups right now, being that this is the video manual so that you understand how to use all the kibbles and bits, as I love to call them. One of the important functions here is how do you get your complete range of movement from the grip reacher. And you'll notice that I'm kind of limited here to about 90 degrees, but if I just rotate this, I'm going to get the other 90, okay? And if I still need more range, I can actually slide the entire grip piece, whether it's the back or the front. We're going to call this the camera mount portion and go through that in just a moment. But you'll see now I have this range and this range. So I pretty much have almost a full 360 of movement just by twisting or reversing it. And that's the basics for either end. So the mounting end of the grip reacher can be used in many different ways. I'm calling it the mount end because this is the end that will go on your slider typically, but you're going to find other uses for this. Nobody says that this has to be the mount end. They're pretty much the same. So we've provided this 3/8 star knob, and you can see there's a machined recess that will drop in, and that's how you're going to tighten that onto your slider. And as we run through the different setups, you'll see exactly how that works. We have our kip handle, and then we should point out these, we'll call them the locking holes. And corresponding to the lock holes is a fastener here that I can unscrew. With this unscrewed, withdrawn, this becomes free to move, and when I thread it in, it now engages directly into a lock hole. So even if I have the grip reacher loose, you can see it can't move. So that is an extra security feature. The reality of it is that there's so much grip strength provided by the hardware that you may never use it, but it's there just in case. So one of the great things about the grip reacher is this term I love to say, which is liberating your camera from the slider. It's really straightforward. You can see how simple this is. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my 1/4-20 fastener that's in its storage position on the camera mount end. And this is a pretty heavy camera. It's about 6.5 pounder with a Zeiss lens on there. I'm going to actually go through my 1/4-20, and I'm just going to peek down here and engage right to the bottom of the camera, like so. Now, I've seen shooters put small fluid heads on the end. The grip reacher can take a lot of weight. I like the simplicity of just putting the camera straight up on the end. There's less things to move, less things to flex. And you can see now that I'm almost set to go. I have everything kind of locked down. So I may choose, in this case, it may be a really low angle push. If I want to lower the camera, I can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and level it out here. And let's just adjust and rotate out. You can see how I'm quickly getting orientation. I've got all-terrain legs here, and you can see the thing's not flipping over, which is kind of cool. I'll go ahead and unlock the doozy. And I'm going to disengage moto because we're in time-lapse mode. And you can see at this point, I have a low push. And you can probably get an idea of how many different variations on this theme, whether you're flipping the camera or I'm just doing a push over the end, but we're going to show that to you as well. The grip reacher is extremely easy to configure. I can basically loosen these kip handles and I have full control over movement. I can loosen here and twist. So we'll set up real quick for the push. I'm going to lock it into position about here. I want the camera to be locked right around here and at this height. And that's it. As I push forward, I'm going to be defying the laws of gravity. So at some point, and this is something to be careful with when you're using the grip reacher, your center of balance is going to be outside of the slider. So if this is on a set of sticks or sandbag down, great. You'll notice as I get over here though, the slider is going to want to lift. So I'm going to have to be careful either to restrain it. If it's mounted to a tripod head, I got to make sure my sticks don't fall over. It's just basic camera handling, but What grip reacher doesn't do is defy gravity, so you still have to be aware that the center of gravity will change and make sure that you're prepared for it. Very small amount of weight would be required to counterbalance this, but you can see at this point I have a nice little push going on. Configured in probably 20 seconds or so using the grip reacher. One of the neat things about grip reacher is the ability to get the camera off the slider for some really interesting time lapses. So in the video we show you a 2-axis time lapse, and the setup is actually really straightforward. You can just see how easy this is going to go. And Moto itself has a bunch of threaded holes on the bottom of it. So I'm going to go right through and go into the 1/4 hole on the bottom of Moto and go ahead and tighten that on. And you can see, once I've balanced this, like so, during this 2-axis time lapse, this camera is going to rotate, it's going to pan, and it's also going to slide at the same time. It's going to be a really interesting shot. So there you go, underslung time lapse with Moto and the grip reacher. So one of the other handy setups that the grip reacher has proved useful for is not even on a slider, actually, just off a tripod. And if you're doing overhead photography or macro photography where you're wanting to get the camera off the tripod and pointing down, or just at a different height or angle, this is a fairly straightforward way to do it. You can see I've attached it directly to the 3/8 stud on the tripod itself, and loosening, I'm just going to go ahead and slide that out. This is a situation where you actually might want to use a lock here because there's a lot of torque, but you can see I can have the camera pretty much pointing at any angle that I want. So whether it's a slider shot and you're trying to get overhead of something where the slider would be in the way, or in this case, just getting off your sticks, doing tabletop photography, that sort of thing. Your sticks are on the floor, but you want your camera pointing at the subject on the table. So those are a couple easy setups. This could just as very well be a slider. In this case, we've chosen to show you on the tripod because we've actually used it in this fashion. So there you go. There's the grip reacher as a straight up camera mount. All right, well, there you have it, an overview of how to use the grip reacher. I know you're going to come out with your own setup, so we'd love to see what you come up with. If you do have questions or suggestions, sales@cinovate.com, or give us a call directly. Our phone number is listed on our website, cinovate.com. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, and let us know what cool stuff you're doing with the grip reacher out there in the field. Cheers.